It seems to me that today's marketplace of marketers, there's a lot of agencies and a lot of freelancers that are focused specifically on a tactic. So to find that, a lot of content marketers, a lot of social media people, a lot of just PPC people, and they are just part of communications. They're just channels within that, and communications is one part of marketing strategy. So have we forgotten what the strategy bit is?
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong genuinely with people
100%.
being very good at what they do, and I think it is a really important thing that happens now, because as everything gets more complex, as every market kind of gets fuller and every kind of tool gets a little incrementally better, it's so important to have someone that is really good at it. You know, if Facebook, for example, is the right thing for you, then pay someone who is really, really good, that understands the intricacies, what works, what doesn't, how will that change it. Pay someone to do that. But I think for me, where it falls down is where you are starting with that. And I think that's half the problem. I think, you know, I don't blame anyone. I don't blame the agencies for this. I don't kind of think that's an issue. I think they are, of course, going to recommend people down the line of what they're good at, not any kind of anti-altruistic thing because they think that's right, because that's what they do. But if you haven't got that step back and you haven't kind of had that chat with someone who has no axe to grind, just to kind of say, well, look, this is what I want to do with my business. What of all these billion tools should I do with it? And I think that's where I think too many people have kind of fallen down on it.
100%. I mean, I know AdWords to an alright level. I am by no means the equivalent of an AdWords specialist, or would ideally want to run your AdWords account for you. But because it's a science, there's a science to that sort of stuff. There definitely is a place for it, and that's not what we're saying. I think you hit the nail on the head. You need to know if that's the right channel to reach the people. I mean, Google and Facebook are probably bad examples because everybody is on the other end of Google and Facebook.
Yeah.
You just have to find them. But that's the strategy bit. You have to identify in your strategy who the target audience is that you need to reach in order to achieve what you're trying to achieve, and then have an overview of what the best way to do that is. And then you come into the channels and how to use the channels and how to use them optimally. And who's got time to, you know, run AdWords and Facebook and write content and stuff like that? People need that outsourced, right? People need it done properly.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that helps agencies be better agencies from a customer point of view is having a really good brief and a really good strategy to go, this is our marketing strategy, these are the people we need to reach. How do you think we use this tool to do it? We know they're on the other end of Google. Help us.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we've almost got an embarrassment of riches here. There are so many tools, so many things that we can do, but on the flip side of that, where do you start? What's the right thing? Most people don't. Most people do something, and they, as I said, they don't do nothing. So actually, they have to recommend them into a particular route because that's the thing. And again, they're doing it because that's what they believe is right. But I think it's hard for anyone, most of all, the customer, most of all, the kind of the end person, to work out what's right, because pretty much everyone has got, as I said, has got that axe to grind, has got that, you know, you should be doing this, we do it, we get results, and you know, and it's not a bad thing, it's not that, but I think it's that classic kind of tactics versus strategy. And I think now particularly, if you're not starting with strategy, then you're in for a load of heartache, a load of ball ache, and a load of money. And I think, you know, that's part and parcel of more and more people are doing it. But also, you know, we are in a really kind of complex industry. All the power now is with the customer. You know, every market is fuller than it's ever been, and actually, therefore, trying to get your message seen is harder than it's ever been. You know, I mean, not that long ago, you know, we'd spend, you know, some money on Facebook, you know, 150, 200 quid. We'd get a stack of downloads, and then, you know, a proportion of those would go on to buy. That just isn't there anymore, and it is. And, you know, every market has got fuller, everybody's got better at it. Not necessarily, not probably better in the right kind of grand scheme of things, but better at being able to do Facebook. You know, you look like 10 years ago, there was no way that, I don't know, forgive me, you know, the little local plumber did Facebook. They just didn't. They didn't need to, didn't, and you know, the tool wasn't there. But all of these channels have just got busier. All of these people, so more than ever before, you have to have a proper, clear, thought through, and a plan that is relevant to your exact situation. What is it that you need to do at this time for the customers that you need to get to? Because without that, you know, unless you're kind of sat on some sort of, you know, European cash mountain, it's just not going to happen for you.
That's totally it. I think it's having. I think Seth Godin explained it well in some kind of Seth thing ages ago.
Some kind of Seth thing.
One of his things, probably a blog post, if I'm honest. He explained a marketing strategy as a compass that always guides you to your true north. It's not a map. It's not a step-by-step plan. It's the thing that guides you to your true north. The thing that you go, okay, Facebook have brought out this amazing new Facebook Live advert. Let's get on it. Everybody's getting on it. But you check your compass to make sure it guides you in the right direction. It's such a good way of doing it. You need that thing that centres you. The strategy. And a good marketing strategy is only one that helps you facilitate your business goals. It's not a standalone, it's not a marketing thing, it's a business tool. And I think that's where it kind of...
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, you know, you've got all these tools, you've got so many things that you can do, but you get blinded by it. You know, I mean, I was with a big haulage company the other day, and they've been kind of clacking away on Twitter and email newsletters for kind of forever and a day. And when you actually kind of scratch through the surface, like, what do you really want to happen? Who do you really want to speak to? And how do you want that to look like? What do you want to get out of it? And actually, as it transpires, they've got every bit of information they have of the 200 people in the country that they want to speak to. Just do some direct mail. Get onto their desk. You know, the space on the desk is so powerful because it isn't 2 clicks away from 50 other competitors and Facebook and people's weddings and all those things that you disappear into and you can go into online and you know people looking at other people's pictures, that sort of stuff. You know, this is why the specificity, is that a word?
Yes.
Excellent. That's why the specificity, say it again, that's why it's so important. It's got to be, what is the right plan, the overall compass? What is the thing that's right for you for this particular part of what you've got on? Otherwise, you just disappear into the stuff. And, you know, the stuff can be helpful, it can be useful, but it's not relevant, it's not right for what you want to do. And the amount of people I speak to, and they kind of talk me through who their perfect target market is, and I say, well, look, brilliant. Just, now we've got that bit and we're clear on that, what of your current marketing is about, for, and to those people?
Yeah.
And it's one of those, and you think, well, how do we get here? How do we kind of end up in this place where people are just doing stuff for stuff's sake?
It's tricky. I mean, it's like we've always said, marketing's really simple compared to the way a lot of people make it. It's about getting the right message to the right people at the right time. And that's something we've been saying for donkeys now. And it's still
4 and 2 donkeys.
Yeah, and it's still the right thing.
Yeah.
There is still not much more complicated about your marketing strategy. You need to know the right people, the right message, and then how to get that message to the people when they're at the most optimum time to consume. Because it's easy to publish stuff. But there's room for wondering how much of it is consumed, and the consumption of that message by the right people is the important thing. You've got to get your message consumed. You've got to get it seen and then read.
Yeah, and I did a talk a year ago, I think, with them, mate, and someone asked, with everything that's changing in the world, in marketing world particularly, what stays the same? And my answer is really simple. Well, everything stays the same. It has never changed. The tools facilitate it in a different way, but what is the absolute best thing you can do to get in front of the absolute best people?
Yeah.
And there's your answer. And and I think weirdly as well, people tend to almost hide behind different marketing things. They kind of, they not kid themselves, that's really unfair, but they're sort of doing it and they're just pushing away and think, well, actually, there's probably nothing better that you could do than pick up the phone and speak to them. And okay, people think, well, yeah, I don't like cold calling. This isn't cold calling. You know, this is where it becomes part of a campaign. So maybe there is a direct mail thing that lands on the desk that's followed up by a LinkedIn connection, which is followed up by an email, which is followed up with a call. But actually, there is nothing better. You know, it's like this company I spoke to. If I've got those 200 people, I will do the best possible thing to have a conversation with each and every one of those 200 people. And in no commonsensical world can that be banging away on Twitter. That's nothing against Twitter, and I say it'll all be part of the mix. But that's why you come back to kind of the thrust of this of you've got to have that plan. You've got to ignore the tactics first. What is the plan? What am I trying to achieve? I want to get to sit down with these people. Bang, right, what is the best possible thing for this? And also, what are the things that we don't need to put our time into? Because none of us are sat there, you know, on piles and piles of money and crucially, you know, piles and piles of time.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a big part of it, you know, because it is a, I don't want to say it, it's a cheaper way of doing marketing. I don't mean it that way, but actually, as time wastage, yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, that, I think it almost brings us full circle, because what you talked about there is a phone call, having a conversation is part of one of a few channels. That's integrated marketing strategy. That's the stuff that I used to teach 4 years ago for the CIM, and the CIM has been going for donkeys. It's good marketing strategy, having an integrated channel marketing campaign. Yes, you need experts in some of the channels because technology is complicated nowadays.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not into it, especially if you're not a marketer. You know, Facebook ads, there's a science to it. AdWords, there's a science to it. Writing good copy is not a skill everybody has.
No.
But using them all together, guided by a right strategy, is 100% the right way to go.
Yeah, and I think it has changed. What you needed to do to be a good, successful business owner 5-10 years ago is different from what you need to now.
And it'll be different.
And I mean the fundamentals are there, but actually getting this stuff across. And I think this is where a lot of us need to be able to stop and say, well, okay, I know who I want to speak to. What's the best thing I need to do for that? And that has to be plan driven, because otherwise you end up doing it piecemeal and you don't get anywhere for it.
That's it.
You don't get any for it.
100%.